Okay, so I have my baby ground made over here. That's my block ground. This is my alternator power wire, charging wire if you will. This is my battery ground. My battery's not here, of course. Yeah, I am that anal to where I actually bought blue power cable to match everything else that is blue. I have to bend this lug to run it to the starter back there. I wish it was that easy, just to put it on there and it's done. And then I'll run it probably under the motor mount over here to back up onto the frame rail. Yeah, that seems the most logical way to do that. Keep it out of the way. Blue, gotta bend this one to about a 90 right there in the crease. Hopefully it don't bust off. And I haven't cut the power wire yet. Leave it full loop for when I got my front end back on. I'll just sit that, over here or something. I'll get some zip ties and zip tie them two together. The one running on top of the engine's fine right there. The engine, maybe 200 degrees is what it should stay. That shouldn't affect the wire. I think the wire's up to like 300, 400 degrees. I don't know. Maybe it might not even have a temperature rating. But I solder, put the lugs full of solder. And then, of course, put my shrink tubing on first, so that way I don't forget it and can't do it. I cover my ends in the dielectrical grease to make sure anything can get in there, water, anything. And that helps. This is oxygen-free copper, but that only means that it's copper wire that's been tinned. That's it. It doesn't technically mean that no oxygen is inside the wire. I mean, oxygen, water, and stuff can get in there. So you definitely want to use dielectrical grease on your ends and then shrink tube them, because water can wick its way in. The next thing I have to do is I need to... I was thinking about pulling the spark plugs, but maybe I won't do that right now. There was something else ahead. Oh, I'm going to start working on getting my starter wire and everything ran over to this point before I hook the starter up. And that goes on that little bitty bolt right there. I bought a bunch of electrical connectors. This is like a value kit from O'Reilly's, which is where I spend a lot of my money at, because to be honest with you, the dudes there are like the coolest guys. They watch my channel and they also are on my Facebook. But I got these. No, I will not be leaving them crimped. I will be taking the sleeves off of, let's say, the ring terminals. I'll take the sleeves off, crimp them, and then solder them on, and then shrink tube them. That is how something like this should be done correctly. This was like $5, so I was like, yeah, because each pack's almost $5 by themselves. And I bought an extra set of big ring terminals, which is funny because after looking at the power over there, yeah, I'm still gonna need them. Those are not big enough, even though it technically says 10 gauge, but that's just the wire that goes in it. Which is funny because I believe it's, 10 gauge. Might even be 8. But I bought these extra big ring terminals to go on the power side of the alternator over there. Or not the alternator, but the starter, which is where all the power goes first. So, got to do all that crap still. I'm going to have to extend the wire. Now, I do have more power wire over here. That is CCA wire, copper clad aluminum, but it'll work because it's not technically like putting a bunch of power through it. So all this is necessary in my opinion, because when you have this truck stock, let's say the 305, you might have a 80-90 amp alternator on it. The factory LS one's like a 105. And I don't do it because it's producing more power. I do it because there's more energy needs in your vehicle when you do an LS. Because you have to power the computer, your coils, all that stuff has to be powered now. Whereas in your 305, you got one coil that has to be powered and the distributor. That's it. In this case, you have 8 coils, your computer, and in my case, gauges. I have a small underseat subwoofer. There's headlights, tail lights, interior lights, so there's a lot more stuff. And it requires more power. This will keep things like your headlights and stuff from pulsing. Yeah, let's say if you got a big system, which I don't, it'll stop it from pulsing. But it's always good to do an upgrade, even if you're going from the original, I believe it was 10 gauge, up to 4 gauge like I am. That is a monster increase to your powering system, even if you don't have a system. But if you do have, let's say, 1,000 watts in there, 4 gauge would be great, but a little bit bigger, some 2 gauge, maybe even some 0 gauge would be awesome. Well, I've had my fill of heat and electrical today. Done. These are my starter wires. These are my 2 constant 12s. This is my starter, key. And that's the key 12 I need to have for my LS wiring. All these are soldered. Unfortunately, I forgot to put shrink tubing on this one, so I'll have to get some liquid electrical tape. But I gotta loom all of them, and I need to figure out if I should run the temp gauge and all that crap inside to hook up to the new digital gauges. If I do, I need to extend all them wires and take them in there. That orange wire hiding right here, that is your fuel level wire. And I know that one needs extended and actually needs completely redone. I need to get some connectors. Actually, I got connectors today, yeah. So I just need to connect them to the fuel tank over there through some connectors. So that way I have my level and my fuel pump. So really, I'm getting pretty close to the point where I can fire it. I would only need to get my intake done. Cleaned, painted, paint my fuel rails, put it together, plugs out, crank it, blow out the cylinders just in case I got water in it. Put in the new TR55 plugs wherever I put them. They're still in the bag here. See here, yes. NGK V-Power TR55. These are what everybody suggests are the best plugs for your NA LS, which means no turbos, just naturally aspirated. I wish it was a turbo. I'd like to have one, but coils are on. I'd like to paint them up black, just to make them look nice. Just like, ain't done them yet. But other than that, finished the intake. I gotta put in 3/8 barb in. I was just finishing up. Just wanted to show the status of my truck before the big storm hits. This has Tija motor mounts and a cross member back there by the same company. I have been working on the wiring. Lots of wiring. An extreme amount of wiring. But it's coming together. I'm getting ready to put this in some sleeve. This one wire I have here is going to be going into that bundle, hopefully. And inside, because that is my power wire to my LS harness, so it's got to go in there. Well, my keyed power, so he gets his own little fuse. The rest of the wires, 2 of them go on the starter, and the other one goes on the starter solenoid to engage the starter. Power wire, ground wire for the battery, ground wire for the motor, which is right here. Stock 4.8, just made it look real nice. It's keeping the truck intake, which I am shaving. I actually have 2 of them, one for plastic and one for shaving. No AC, it will have heat. Everything's being redone. New suspension. It's been lowered 4.5. It is going to get 5 in the rear, which is up in the air right now. Well, that might look funny. Fat boy don't fit under there very well. I am the fat boy, not you. But it's coming together. Brand new calipers. Those are painted dark blue. Actually matches the shocks. Safety blue on the springs. GM blue. For the next person that wants to call it Ford blue, it's GM blue. This is medium GM blue. It's close. It's not exact, but it's close. Close enough for me. I still have to put my sway bar on. I am rocking a set of 20-inch Foose wheels. No, I didn't pay for them. They were on there when I bought the truck. So one thing I am really considering doing real soon, my dash is cracked, as you can tell. Cracked. Stupid speaker hole, and there's no speaker there. I am very, very seriously thinking about doing it in the blue bandana paisley, but I haven't decided yet. Door panels are also the light blue. Can't really do much about those. They cost way too much. Other than that, it's coming along, and I love it, and I am not selling it now. I am going to keep it. Yes, I do have the windshield. I have a solid solid back glass that is tinted blue in my parts area, along with a million other things. New aluminum radiator with dual fans, still in the box. My fuel system is the stock tank. No, it don't have a baffle in it, but I put AN fittings on there. I have to wire it up still, but other than that, it's good to go. And yeah. Oh, I did put the tilt wheel column in this. Sort of fat boy friendly. Pushed it forward as far as I could possibly get it. But it's real nice, and there it is.